A giant is getting ready for its move. The brand new orbital launch mount is almost completed. When can we expect to see it lifted onto its legs above the monumental flame trench? Starbase is taking the next step toward becoming a city. Prototypes are lining up for the next flight tests, and so much more. My name is Felix, welcome to What About It. Let's dive right in. Starship updates. What's the holdup? With boosters 14-2, 15-1 and 16 occupying Megabay 1 and booster 17, which has already been cryo-tested, sitting in the rocket garden, it looks like SpaceX has ample Stage 1 candidates for the upcoming Starship Flight 9 test. So how's it looking for the Stage 2 vehicles? At the moment, Megabay 2 is the home of ships 35, 36 and 37, while ship 38 is being worked on in the Star Factory. The most likely candidate for this upcoming flight is ship 35, but that still needs to go to Massey's for its static fire test. The ship not having done the static fire yet tells me that there is some holdup with the engines or the engine section, but there is no official word about it. Meanwhile, the thrust simulator stand has been rolled into Megabay 2 and ship 36 was mounted on top of it. It left Megabay 2 on Saturday and got on its way to Massey's for the next part of its test campaign. Ha! Yes! After 2 unsuccessful flight tests for Block 2 ships, SpaceX is very rightfully taking its time to perform any necessary evaluation and modification work. The goal is to ensure that the third Block 2 ship test is successful. While space fans around the world wait for the next test campaign and the much anticipated launch of Starship Flight Test 9, Pad B has become the new star of the show these last weeks. We're once again looking at a construction speed that truly feels out of this world for the space industry. Changes can be observed daily. The legs that will soon support the launch table have already been installed, and shortly after we saw more wall segments being lifted into place. Pad B's flame trench is not far from being finished. It's looking like a seriously beefy, incredibly resilient structure that is ready for some sizzling hot action. One piece is still missing, and it's the largest single item in the entire Pad B construction. For months, this gigantic and immensely complicated structure has been under construction at the build site. It's the heart of the pad, so to speak. As the scaffolding slowly comes off, it is apparent that we can expect this monolith to get on the road soon. As a last step, there were still some very large and important components to be installed, and work on those had already begun. These are the hold-down clamp arms. 20 of these are needed to hold down the mighty Starship stack securely. The last thing you want to see is a full stack being blown over on the launch mount or the rocket launching too soon. With the launch table's job not limited to just providing a stable support for the mighty Starship, there is a lot built into this structure. Elon Musk said a long time ago, when the first OLM was being constructed, that building it is at least as tricky as the booster or ship. And this is just as true for the newly built second launch mount. On launch day, the OLM becomes Starship Stage 0, a stationary but vital part of the launch vehicle. In a genius move, SpaceX was able to build parts that traditionally are part of the launch vehicle into the launch table. This enhanced launch table is now able to not only hold and stabilize the rocket, supply propellants, telemetry and other communications, and the fire suppression system. It also helps with spinning up the outer ring of Raptor engines. It is amazing to see all these systems come together. I'm literally anxious to see the updated OLM design being finished in a matter of weeks now. While we talk a lot about Starship upgrades, this is equally important for the rocket's success. Meanwhile, back at the launch site, we have seen SpaceX's LR-11000 crane has received a new boom. A yellow one this time, as it's rented for as long as the refurbishment of the original boom takes. While this change is part of regular maintenance, it also means that this super crane is now ready for the big lift. Its counterpart has been doing all the heavy lifting while the LR-11000 was out of service, but for the launch table, both cranes will have to join forces. The lifting of this mega part will undoubtedly be quite spectacular. Get your popcorn ready. And now let's head back over to the build site. The sole fact that the high bay is still visible in the Starbase skyline proves what a huge building it has been. Dwarfed by its 2 larger twin brethren, it did not stand out as a tall construction, which is completely crazy. If you had put it in any small town though, it would have easily stood out as the tallest structure with its 81 meters. It's tall enough to be a 27-story building. With most of the central wall segments perforated and removed, the time is up for high bay, and the outer wall will come down fast now. But SpaceX still needs to cut one major corner, the one on the Star Factory. To make space for the Gigabay, this segment of the Star Factory also needs to go. A first sign of its imminent removal was workers taking out glass panels starting last Thursday. When SpaceX started to move soil in Boca Chica for the first time 10 years ago, no one would have anticipated that this was, in a sense, the groundwork for the future city of Starbase. Fast forward to 2025 and the future is here. Almost. Voters in the small Cameron County community, comprised of SpaceX employees and like 5 or so other residents, will decide on May 3rd whether they want to incorporate and become the newest city in Texas. But there is more to decide for them than just a simple yes or no. They will also have to vote for the mayor and 2 commissioners. Interestingly, there is no real choice here, as Bobby Pettin, currently VP of Texas Test and Launch at SpaceX, is the only candidate for mayor. For the 2 commissioners, there are also only 2 names on the ballot, Jordan Buss and Jenna Peterzelka. It's really not a big choice to be made here. SpaceX just chose who will lead and in what direction. Locals have almost no say. This trio will form the first governing commission of Starbase, as requested for any Type C municipality. Texas law requires city leaders to hold monthly elections and public meetings and to archive and provide public records. The mayor will run the city's daily operations unless voters approve hiring a city manager who would then assume these responsibilities. But why did SpaceX decide to take this step? Well, their plans are no secret. Growth is the key here. Spring is here, and today I have just the right product for your personal spring clean. It's time to whack that bush in your gentleman's garden, trim the lawn, and feel fresh and ready for that hot summer season. Dude, join over 12 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped and use code Y20 for 20% off plus free shipping at manscaped.com. The Beard and Balls bundle is my go-to all-in-one grooming solution. And I do love the names. With a perfect combination of the beard hedger made to keep your beard crisp like a freshly bloomed flower and the Lawnmower 5.0. Now that is just the right tool for the ambitious gardener to clear out that underbrush. After all, confidence grows best when using the right tool. Enjoy a leading-edge grooming experience with the 20 adjustable settings on the beard hedger for any beard length and shape. The dual blade system on the new Lawnmower 5.0 with its interchangeable foil and trimmer blades is taking good care of you even in the most sensitive spots. And it even comes with its own precision spotlight. Both devices are waterproof, go the extra mile with their excellent runtime, and feature a travel-friendly lock so our grooming tools stay secure on the go. These tools come with skin-safe technology to minimize nicks and irritations, to leave behind nothing but that fresh feeling. Trying Manscaped is risk-free with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Don't cut corners on your grooming routine. Upgrade to the Beard and Balls bundle from Manscaped. Visit manscaped.com and use code Y20 to get 20% off plus free shipping, or if you need it today, you can find Manscaped at a store near you. Stay fresh this season for everyone's sake. Starbase manager Kathy Leaders stated the intentions quite clearly in a letter to Cameron County Judge Eddie Trevino Jr. Incorporating Starbase will streamline the processes required to build the amenities necessary to make the area a world-class place to live. This is true for the hundreds already calling it home, as well as for prospective workers eager to help build humanity's future in space. We can expect Starbase's expansion to go ahead a bit smoother after the incorporation. One example, cities can acquire real estate through eminent domain for fair market value, especially when commodities like roads, water pipes, or sewers are to be constructed. On the other hand, being a city also comes with new responsibilities, such as vital services like police department or a fire department, schools and medical services. You get the picture. If you want to get an incredible overview of the future city of Starbase and its one-of-a-kind attractions, I highly recommend taking a helicopter tour. Check out redlineheli.com/Felix for a once-in-a-lifetime experience and $25 off flying in a helicopter above Starbase. The Redline helicopter team is waiting for you. They'll show you the same views our photographers get on their Starbase flights. Give it a try. Finally, and by public request, here's my updated estimate on when we can expect Flight 9. It all looks like SpaceX is still tracking around the middle of May for this launch, but Ship 35 has not done its static fire. As I said in a side note, this is likely related to ongoing work on the ship itself. My guess right now is trending toward the second half of May for a launch. I'll keep you updated as much as I can. To be able to do that, you can help me out. Our channel metrics show over 4 million returning monthly viewers who have not subscribed yet. Help improve the channel and double check that you've hit the subscribe button to stay up to date with our updates. Like this video if you appreciate the content and become a wise supporter for extra content. Secure your access to up to 7 picture galleries per week, satellite, aerial and ground photos and 3D animations. Chat with me and gain more insights on the topic you love. The entire team is waiting for you, you rock! Jared Isaacman's next hurdle on his way to becoming the next NASA administrator is the official nomination by the US Senate's Committee on Commerce, Science and Transportation. The vote is now set for April 30th as part of an executive session announced by Chairman Ted Cruz. With widespread support backing his nomination and his hearing on April 9th completed, we can expect Jared Isaacman to be confirmed as a nominee by this committee without any complications. Isaacman's nomination will then be sent to the full Senate for a confirmation vote if the Commerce Committee approves it. He would be the first private astronaut and the first non-career government official in recent history to lead NASA if confirmed. Good luck, Rook, the Y team is rooting for you. Do you remember Ingenuity, that iconic little machine created by the Mars helicopter project? When it flew on Mars, it became the first rotorcraft to fly in the atmosphere of another planet. Ingenuity was planned to be little more than a science and technology demonstrator. When it first took flight on April 19, 2021, the plan was for it to perform a total of 5 flight tests. 5. The entire mission objective for the Perseverance rover's little companion was to prove its airworthiness with flights of up to 90 seconds at altitudes ranging from 3 to 5 meters. In the end, the little rotorcraft over-delivered remarkably, completing a total of 72 flights in almost 3 years. That's more than 5. It has without a doubt proven that flight on other planets is possible, and our technology is advanced enough to create these flying probes successfully. NASA has since put the experience gathered from Ingenuity to good use in my currently most anticipated science mission, the Dragonfly project, and now it has passed its CDR or Critical Design Review. It's finally heading into the construction phase. Dragonfly's epic journey will take it to Saturn's icy moon Titan, and its mission is a lot more sophisticated than just a series of test flights. On Titan, Dragonfly's task is to investigate prebiotic chemical processes and complex organic compounds. These are the building blocks of life here on Earth, so looking for them is a good starting point when searching for extraterrestrial life. Are we looking for aliens now? Yes, but they are likely not what you have in mind. Tiny, tiny. Finding any higher life form in our solar system outside Earth is unlikely. Still, finding building blocks of life or even very simple life forms would be an incredible scientific discovery. For Dragonfly, passing the CDR means a lot. Its mission design, fabrication, integration planning, and test plans have been approved. It's the milestone after which the attention can shift toward the construction of the spacecraft. Yes! Ingenuity was really small. Dragonfly, on the other hand, is the size of a small car, and a nuclear power system drives its 4 pairs of coaxial rotors. Get why I'm so excited for it. A nuclear-powered flying drone the size of a car on Saturn's moon Titan. I mean, it doesn't get much more epic than that. A SpaceX Falcon Heavy is the chosen launch vehicle for this mission, which is scheduled to launch no earlier than July 2028. To reach Titan, Dragonfly will need a lot of patience. It will traverse the darkness of space for almost 7 years. In 2035, the probe can deploy its rotors and lift off into Titan's atmosphere. That is, if everything goes as planned. That's by far the worst about these interplanetary missions to the outer solar system. The wait is long, but it will be so worth it. What if the first step to making Mars habitable isn't building greenhouses or landing reactors, but slamming giant space rocks into it? I mean, it might be more fun. Honestly, I'm down for helping with this. A new proposal from researchers at the University of Arizona suggests we could terraform Mars by crashing icy asteroids into its surface. The goal isn't destruction, but full planetary transformation. I love this. Each impact would inject heat and key elements into the Martian crust, potentially jump-starting volcanic activity and releasing trapped gases into the atmosphere. Why does that matter? Mars' current atmosphere is far too thin and cold to support human life on its own. But if enough carbon dioxide, nitrogen and water vapor were released, it could begin to trap more heat, thickening the atmosphere and making surface temperatures more stable. Over time, that could lay the groundwork for future habitats and long-term survival. The plan targets a region called Hellas Planitia, one of the lowest points on Mars. Its deep basin could act as a pressure trap, which would help to hold onto any gases released by the impacts. But not just any space rock will do. The idea is to redirect icy objects from the Kuiper belt, a distant region beyond Neptune filled with frozen nitrogen-rich bodies. That's pretty far. These have the right chemical mix to help build a warmer and denser atmosphere. There's a catch, of course. Redirecting an asteroid from the Kuiper belt is no small task. That's kind of far away. Like, really far. Even in the most optimistic scenario, it would take at least 29 years to reach Mars, with some expert projections stretching that timeline out to more than 60 years. And that's before factoring in the technology required to nudge something the size of a city through deep space with precision. Imagine trying to throw a snowball from the edge of Antarctica and hit a moving target in New York City 30 to 60 years later. Still, the concept shows how far scientists are willing to think when it comes to the future of Mars. Instead of relying solely on slow surface-level efforts, this idea leans into large-scale planetary engineering. If it works, it could give Mars the jumpstart it needs by converting it from a barren world into one that can eventually support life. My final thoughts? Nuke it. Sticking with our favorite dusty, red and inhospitable planet, NASA may have just found something strange beneath the surface of Mars. Elon Musk's origins? Mark Zuckerberg's distant relatives? Nope. A massive hole, over 300 feet wide, that could lead to underground caves. And yes, as you might have suspected, they are not ruling out the possibility that those caves might harbor life. The image shared as part of NASA's astronomy picture of the day on April 13th shows what looks like a perfectly round pit carved into the Martian surface. It's not new. The Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter first captured it in 2017, but what's new is how seriously scientists are considering what might lie beneath. According to NASA, pits like this could act as natural shelters. If they connect to expansive underground tunnels, those spaces would be shielded from the harsh radiation and freezing temperatures on the surface. That makes them one of the most promising places to look for present-day life on Mars, especially for microbial life that could survive underground. Little creepy crawly things. So basically a dark and creepy tunnel on a planet inhabited solely by robots. Yup. Send Optimus in first. The area around the hole looks like Swiss cheese, dotted with smaller pits and covered in evaporating carbon dioxide ice. But the feature that caught everyone's eye is a single, sharply defined crater in the upper right of the image. It spans about 100 meters and includes both the deep central hole and a surrounding depression, possibly from a meteor impact. NASA scientists say we still don't know what's at the bottom of this pit. We don't. But it's now considered a prime target for future exploration. Whether it's a robot, a probe, or even a crewed mission, this spot could offer access to a hidden layer of Mars, one that's better protected and potentially more alive than the surface above. One more piece of news from Mars. NASA's Perseverance rover may have just hit scientific pay dirt. After 4 years of exploring the surface, it's now climbing a rocky slope called Witch Hazel Hill along the rim of Jezero crater, and the results have surpassed expectations. In just a few months, Perseverance has collected 5 new rock samples, studied 7 more up close, and used its laser to scan over 80 additional targets. This is the fastest pace of scientific activities since the rover first landed. The rim of Jezero crater is proving to be a rich site for discovery. Many of the rocks here are fractured, layered, and loaded with minerals that hint at Mars' early history. Some may have come from deep beneath the surface, blasted up by the impact that formed the crater billions of years ago. That makes this area a potential time capsule from the Noachian era, when Mars was warmer and wetter. One sample, named Silver Mountain, may be over 3.9 billion years old, dating back to a period of heavy impacts across the solar system. Another rock contains serpentine minerals, which form when water reacts with volcanic rock. That same reaction can produce hydrogen, an important energy source for microbial life. These are precisely the kinds of samples NASA hopes to bring back to Earth through its Mars Sample Return mission. But that program is being redesigned after ballooning costs and delays. A new plan is expected in 2026. Or we can give it to Rocket Lab. I vote for Rocket Lab. It's truly wild to think about how much of Mars remained unexplored and what our existing equipment is already finding there. Perseverance, keep on persevering. That's it for today. Before watching the bloopers, remember to smash the like button, subscribe for more. This is what fuels the algorithm, and this is how you can help us for free. Check out our epic shirts in your favorite Space Nerd store. A new Raptor design and our new Mechazilla fan club design are both up. Link is in the description and in the card you should see now. Also, check out our print store at shop.whataboutit.space to buy a picture for your favorite wall. A significant amount of every purchase goes directly to our photographer Jordan, and if you want to learn about SpaceX's history and why Starship is skipping leg day, watch this video next to continue your journey. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again in the next episode. Starbase, the Dragonfly. I mean, it doesn't get much. Yeah.